In our first episode, I shared a bit about my mental health journey, and so did my guests. We touched on some of the tools that can support your well being, things like box breathing, exercise, meditation, and even supplements like omega 3, vitamin B complex, and lion's mane. We spoke about how certain foods such as nuts, berries, eggs, turkey, salmon, and other fish can help boost serotonin and dopamine levels. But above all these, there's one thing that makes a world of difference: the support that you receive from those around you. Kindness and compassion from others can help silence your threat response and create a sense of safety, which is something that we all need on this journey to better mental health. Welcome to Women Building Women. I am your host, Samantha Letshedi, and this is episode 2, Support Systems That Save Lives. My guest is someone who changed my life in a space of 3 weeks. And even though these were group therapy sessions, she somehow managed to help me transition from merely surviving to thriving.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Oh, Boipelo. I hope I pronounced the surname right. I thought I got it right now, but Boipelo Mbadaliga.
Yes!
Boipelo Mbadaliga specializes in mental health occupational therapy, helping individuals whose day-to-day functioning has been impacted by mental health challenges. Welcome.
Thank you so much. That is such a sweet intro. Thank you so much for having me. And you are the best host. Like, look at this. I am loving being here already.
Oh, I'm so honored to have you. Oh my gosh. So let's dive into this. So
Yeah.
for people who grew up at a time when mental health wasn't openly spoken about, and even for others who hear the term often but don't fully understand what it is,
Yeah.
how would you explain what mental health is and break down conditions such as depression and anxiety?
Yeah. So mental health is your emotional, psychological, and social well-being, right? When how you feel, what you think about, and how you act are impacted negatively, that's mental illness. But basically, how you feel, what you think, and how you act is mental health.
So then how would you explain what depression is? And I think a lot of the times, or times when I've had conversations like with the older generation, like being the grannies in my family, and I'm like, I am depressed. And my aunt, who's like in her 70s, was like, what is this depression?
Yeah.
So maybe just explaining it in a way that someone from that time can also understand what depression is and what anxiety is.
Yeah. So depression and anxiety are mental health conditions, right? Where now there's illness involved. So depression is when there's a persistent low mood, low motivation, loss of interest in engaging in activities that you used to find a lot of joy in. Just when there's persistent sadness and hopelessness, you feel like you're not going to get out of this. And then anxiety is a group of illnesses because there's generalized anxiety disorder, there's OCD. It's a cluster, exactly. It's a cluster of illnesses that is characterized by a lot of persistent worry, always feeling like something bad is going to happen, feeling on edge, and having physical symptoms like racing heartbeat, knots in your stomach. So depression is when you're always sad, you're feeling low, you can't get up, your sleep is negatively impacted, your functioning is negatively impacted, but you're moving a lot slower. And then anxiety is when everything feels very heightened, like you're very worried about stuff. You have pervasive thoughts, irrational fears, like something bad is going to happen. But you can't pinpoint what exactly, but you constantly feel like something terrible is going to happen.
You know, it's funny because throughout my life, and I even said in the first episode that after I matriculated and I broke away from that space of trauma,
Yeah.
so going through life, I kept on experiencing exactly what you're describing, but I had no knowledge of what it was. And even though at those specific points, of course, there were things that were triggering me to feel that way, but I just never understood why I was feeling that way.
Yeah.
And even when I got to the time when like I reached burnout and I ended up in hospital, when I was seeing my therapist, I kept saying, I don't get why things of the past keep haunting me. Like, why are they impacting me now in my adulthood? And even with people will say things like, that happened years ago. Why is this still affecting you? You know, focus on the positive things happening in your life. So that brings me to my next question. How would you explain the long-term effects that trauma can have on someone's life?
Yeah. I think I want to first start by saying that people experience and process trauma differently, right? We are different as people, and nature and nurture plays a huge impact on how we process things. So nature being your genetic makeup, and nurture being how you were brought up, like in your environment, right? If you were told just like be resilient, do whatever, you can do that while you're living with that person, because there will be a constant reminder of like, you don't cry when things are going badly. You don't cry. You must put it in, keep it in, right? But how I actually explain trauma that is long lasting and that comes up later on in life is that it's like a pimple that looks small on the surface, but when you touch it, you can feel that there's a lot of pus on the inside, right? And then as we go through life, there are pressures of life that we experience, like severe work stress, relational breakups, friendship breakups, a lot of stuff. And that almost looks like putting pressure on that pimple. And the pus is going to come out because the pus was always there. Just because you didn't put pressure on it and it didn't, or it looked like a little small thingy. Sometimes when you have a lot of pus pimples and it looks small on the surface, but you can feel that it's quite dense.
Yes.
Immediately when you put some pressure on it, then all the pus comes out. So that is like childhood traumas. Yes, it's fine. I was able to be resilient in that moment. I didn't let it get to me. I was functional. I was able to go to school, get my grades, do well. And then I'm adulting and a lot of things are happening all at the same time. And all of a sudden, it feels like everything from underneath is coming to the surface. And I'm wondering like how, why? It's because of pressure and the trauma that existed that was always there, but there was no applied pressure.
That analogy, spot on. I always use the open wound analogy of just changing a plaster and placing it on a wound that hasn't been treated. But that pimple one, I'm taking it. Honestly, you just described my life. You basically summarized my life.
Yeah.
So for people like myself who have been through this, as a therapist, what are some of the practical ways that you support them and assist them on their journey?
Yeah. So I think I have to first start by saying there's a difference between psychotherapy and occupational therapy, right? Okay. So psychotherapy is talk therapy, where you get into the room and you talk to a psychologist and you're processing a lot of the stuff that you've gone through, right? And the goal of that is to help you in how you feel, and in your behaviors and how you think, right? So you go through that process, and the therapy just looks like a lot of talking through the stuff that you've been through. And then occupational therapy is all about functioning and quality of life, right? So our goal is to assist you to ensure that when you leave, you are functioning much better than you were before you came in. So your ability to go to work, your ability to do day-to-day stuff, because when you have a lot of depression, you can't wake up in the morning. You are unproductive as a result. Or when you have a lot of anxiety, that can stop you from having great relationships because you don't want to go out. You just want to be in your comfort zone and, be safe. So in occupational therapy, it is very, very client-centered, very person-centered, depending on what are we working towards with the two of us. But the goal is, how can we improve your functioning? Because I feel like a lot of people in this day and age live on autopilot. You don't like the job that you're doing, but you're doing it anyway because everybody tells you it's not that simple. You can't just change careers. It's not that simple.
Exactly.
You don't like the marriage you're in, the relationship that you're in, and you're just stuck there, right? Because it's not that simple. You don't like your friendship groups. You're with a lot of people who are maybe narcissistic, or you yourself have a victim mentality, or whatever the case. And we just do life on autopilot, where we don't like our jobs, but we have bills to pay and we have to show up.
Oh my gosh. Like the way everything is just resonating with me because I've been through it. I just keep nodding. This is going to appear so funny on screen. And you spoke about like the functioning and the isolation. That word isolation stood out for me because when I am in those low spaces,
Yeah.
I don't want to bring about an energy that seems like it's negative or draining to others. So I refrain from meetups or anything that's social. And because I then stay away, and I'm very much an extrovert, but during those times I feel like I'm introverted. And because I'm away from people, they sense it. They notice that Sam hasn't been around for quite some time. So then you get people checking in, which is great. But then the question comes, how are you doing? Yeah, I dread that question. And I think I mainly dread it because sometimes there seems to be like a lack of understanding when I try to explain what I'm going through. Or maybe people just don't have the capacity because everyone is going through it. And, a couple of weeks ago, actually, a couple of weeks ago was the first time I told a family member that I was depressed. I've been in a very dark space. Like, even when you watch my first episode, you'll see that if you know me, you'll see my face that Sam doesn't look great. And for the first time after masking for years, I couldn't anymore. She called and she could hear that I wasn't okay. And then I told her what was going on. Like, there were other things happening. Like, I had this rash on my body. I had a cold as well.
Sure.
But I was depressed. And that was the thing that was outweighing everything for me. So I said to her, I understand that you do not understand because you grew up in a time where people didn't speak about this.
Yeah.
Or you don't know of it. But I am depressed. I'm not in a good space. And that's just what it is. And I could get the sense that she really doesn't understand, but she was trying to.
Sure.
But then she told another family member. And that one is in a different generation. Older than me, yes, but not as old as my aunt. And she contacted me and I tried explaining to her brain chemistry. Like, I broke it down, took it to the chemical messengers,
Love
all of
it.
that. And I tried to explain to her that I don't sit and think about my trauma. I don't sit there and think about the things that have happened and throw a pity party. No, it just happens that because of my brain chemistry, there is a chemical imbalance, and I do get those points where I hit those extreme lows.
Yeah.
And this is currently where I'm at. And she said to me, and she was like, stop focusing on the negative, just focus on the positive.
Sure.
And I was like, that's my thing. You're not getting it. I'm not even saying I'm focusing on the negative stuff. I'm just explaining my brain chemistry. So you get responses like that, jabs like that from family. And then you speak to friends who, I want to say, have faced challenges in life, yes, but not necessarily the type of challenges that bring about trauma. So just your life challenges. You want to climb the corporate ladder, or maybe you failed a module in varsity, that kind of thing. And when you come with all the heaviness, with your abuse and this and that, it's, yes, there is sympathy, but they don't really empathize. And I don't blame them, you know? So you get to a point where you're like, do I even explain it? Do I just keep to myself? I'll just speak to my therapist, that kind of thing. And I think the main point of this episode was to find out from someone like yourself how loved ones, like friends, family, how can they support us who are in this position? Because I think it's really hard for them, as much as they sympathize, but they don't know exactly how to be there for us.
Yeah, sure. I think for the person who is struggling mentally, it's important that you audit your support systems. Not everyone has the capacity to support you the way that you need exactly when you're low. And I think it's okay. It's important to know that, number one. And it's also important to understand what can that person offer you. Because the fact that they're in your life means that they do offer some sort of support, even if it's maybe practical support. I know if this person, I asked them to do something for me, they would be able to do it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't sit on the phone with me for hours and just talk about nothing or just comfort me, So I think as the person who is struggling, it's important to do an audit of your support systems so that you know what to expect from the people that you love, just to manage your own expectations and not lead to disappointment, right? And then as the support system, so I just want to say, there are people who are able to give social support, right?
Yeah.
They're able to be there with you physically, but sometimes they don't even know how to meet you there emotionally. Like they're able to give you a great time or to sit with you or to watch a movie with you. They'll be like, Sam, I'll come to your place. I'll do this. But in terms of taking that conversation all the way there or be the listening ear that you need, they just don't know how to do it. And I don't think we have to demonize people who don't have the capacity to love us in the way that we need.
Yeah.
We just have to be aware of it so that we can know how to manage expectations.
Yeah.
There are people who are able to be there for you emotionally. Like I'm someone who likes to process my stuff like out loud, but to a certain small group of friends.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the same thing over and over and over again. And you must not make me feel like, I'm a burden when I call you. But I also know which friends I can do that with and which friends I can't do that with. And the other friends who I can't do that with, I don't demonize them. Our friendship is just different.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So they also know what they can expect from me, and I know what I can expect from them. And then I also have friends who, if I need practical assistance, they're the first people that I can call. If I need someone to run an errand for me, if I need someone to help me with something, I know that they will do that. But in terms of emotionally, they're not going to meet me there. So I think it's important as that person who's suffering to be able to identify who is in my innermost circle, who can give me that emotional support and call on to that person. And then as the people who are supporting, know your strengths, but also ask the people who are struggling how you can support them.
That's a very good point, because I don't know what type of support I'd love to receive. I know I'd love some support, yes. But when I sit and try to think about it, I'm like, what would you tell someone that you need? You see? So I think that also puts them in a difficult position, because it's like, Sam, what do you need? Sam doesn't even know. I need you to be here for me. Yes, that part I know. But how exactly? Not certain.
And I think it's important. I mean, from what you said, it sounds like you expected from your aunt and your other cousin to just be able to listen without judgment. And that can be something that you say.
Oh, yes.
That all I expect from you is to listen to me without judgment.
Oh, yes.
To listen to me and hear that, listen, my childhood trauma has caused me to be this way and to feel like this. It has changed my brain chemistry in this way. And I just want you to listen without thinking that I needed special treatment.
You see, that's why you're a specialist in this field. Look, you answered me just like that. You know exactly what I need.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is exactly it. And like I said, I went through this a lot. Going through these, I don't want to call them depressive episodes. Like, it sounds like, oh, you're just going through an episode. No, but like these dips that occur from time to time in life. And the first time when I went to hospital, the psych hospital, and I spent the 3 weeks there, I was adamant. I do not want medication.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
I
you
remember that.
I was
remember
like, no,
that.
not doing it.
You were like, just exercise. Just
Yes.
exercise, Boipelo. That's all I need.
Exactly. So, what would you put your money on? If antidepressants didn't even exist in this life, what would you say would help people that are struggling with depression?
Okay. Firstly, I do want to say that, guys, psychiatric medication does help, right? It does. There is a place for psychiatric medication. And I'm sure you know.
Oh, I tried it.
Oh.
I tried it for 9 months.
And?
I think the 3rd month, that's when it kicked in. I felt like life was sunshine and roses, rainbows and unicorns, like living my best life. But then as time went on, it was just like, okay, I'm here, fine, we're okay. I guess it's not supposed to make me feel like that every single day of my life. But the thing that I noticed was I was starting to forget a lot.
Sure.
I was forgetting a lot. My speech became impaired. Like I lost the whole chunk of my vocab. Even now, I'm still trying to regain that.
Yeah.
But I think it was the combination of those meds with sleeping pills because they caused insomnia. So even when I saw my doctor, she said that she suspects that it's the sleeping pills. So it's going to take time for my brain to like sort of come back to its normal functioning. Also, I was so slow. I just felt so dumb. So yeah, after those 9 months, I was just like, weed me off.
Yes.
I need to get my brain back. Now I'm someone who really prides myself in like how I articulate myself, you know, intelligence, and that has fallen away. So my confidence is broken down now. So yeah, that's like I'm still on that journey right now. Like I play like your exercises, like your brain related exercises on the phone. I'm busy learning new vocab, like. But hey, so because of that experience, I was like, I gave you a chance. So I came back. I came back the second time around, a year later to the hospital. I was there, but only for a week because I said, I can't anymore. I've tried this. There are times when I'm slacking. I can't keep up with eating all the right stuff, all this exercising every week. And I'm just going downhill. So you know what? I give in. I'm in the matrix now. Big pharma, you got me. Like, give me those meds.
Yeah.
So I did try them.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like it gave me that confirmation of why I didn't want them in the first place. But again, these affect us differently. And this is not me saying it won't work for the next person. I'm just sharing my experience.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. And it's good that you found, I'm so sorry about the side effects that it caused, because they do cause a lot of side effects. And that's why it is important that they are administered by a psychiatrist. Even though some GPs will, give you, antidepressants and so forth, I feel comfortable when it's administered by a specialist, because then they are able to kind of tell you what to expect, even though in your case you weren't necessarily... Yeah, you just kind of were like, okay, here we go, here we are.
I was only told afterwards by my psychiatrist, where she's like, oh, actually, the sleeping pills. I'm like, you could have told me that in the beginning.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, but anyways, yes, you were saying.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that there is a place for it, because there are people who cannot live without them. Like the anti-anxiety medication. Without them, they are, very, very jittery, super, like they need them to be able to regulate themselves. And so there is a place for them. So I don't want my answer to make it sound like psychiatric medication is nonsense, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's also important to really analyze your life and make the changes that you need to make. Because a lot of the times when we are not doing okay, there's a model that we learned in varsity called the PEO model. It's the person, which is yourself, your genetic makeup, and so on and so forth, your environments, where you spend most of your time, home, work, friendships and your occupations, which is the activities that you do day to day, where sometimes when there's illness, there's a fallout in one of these three things. Either your brain chemistry from the person, or your environment is super toxic and you're holding on because of, our social cultural factors saying, no, you don't leave work without having another option. No, you must stay in this toxic work environment. And the reason I say this is because for me, so I'm self-employed now, right?
Ooh, yes. Okay.
But honestly, if I had stayed in jobs where I was full-time employed, I think my mental health would have suffered. I don't think I'm wired to be full-time employed. And I struggled with a lot of things when it came to working environments, because I just felt like, no, man, like there's a drive in me that needs to be self-employed. So what I'm saying is sometimes the things that negatively affect us is living on autopilot and not changing our environment even when we know that it's time to leave.
Yeah.
So things that can assist, yes, it's your activities that can assist, like exercising. I run a lot. Not a lot anymore, but I run a lot.
Girl,
Eating
you a runner.
Yeah, eating well, being with good support systems and family around you. Those things, those factors can, but also don't live on autopilot. Like, live the life of your dreams now. It's not like you're gonna live again later. And I find that this is what affects a lot of people in practice, is that people don't like their lives.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's like you need to be brave as well. And yes, to a certain degree, you need to have a plan as well. Like, yeah, you can't leave that job. I mean, if I left my job tomorrow and was like, I'm going to do my podcast, like, I'm not getting any money from this.
Yes.
But yeah, I totally get you. And I agree. And even with the exercise, like over the past 2 months, like I said, I was in such a dark space. I think in the past, during that time, I probably would have ended up back in hospital. And I used to have very unhealthy ways to cope in the past. So during that time, drink every night. That would also help me fall asleep. I would vape as well. But now, like, I stopped drinking, I stopped vaping, and every morning I wake up, I run. It's either like I walk, jog, run. I have to do that every morning. Some mornings I will do like just core exercises, core related exercises indoors, because I'm trying to get that flat stomach, But I've been doing that a lot, and I've been watching what I eat as well. There's a lot of, like, if you see my grocery list, there's little icons on the side, like a little brain next to the salmon, brain next to the nuts. So I include that in my groceries as well. So those are the things that I've been doing or I've implemented that have really helped me. And I found that I was in this hole for a shorter time.
Yes.
Like, when I think about my past and I assess the times that I've been in those lows, for the first time, I managed to pull myself out of it with what I've been doing.
Amazing.
So, yeah. And then you spoke about relationships, right?
Yeah.
How, having certain people in your life can also really help. And I mentioned it as well in the beginning in terms of kindness and compassion.
Yes.
And we touched on family and friends, but we didn't necessarily touch on romantic relationships. And something that I learned about outside of therapy, actually, which I thought I would have learned about in therapy when we learned love languages. But I read about attachment styles.
Yeah.
So finding out about how the relationships that you form with, like, your primary caregiver as a child, those then affect how you are in relationships when you're an adult, and you can probably, like, explain it much better. But I have the summary that I'm going to read through because, like I said, I'm not really educated on this. So these are the different types, the 4 types. And I think I have identified with one, and I'm going to tell you which one.
Okay.
So the first one rather is, so in this case, the caregiving that you received as a child was loving and sensitive. So then the type of attachment you'll have is secure because you felt like positive and loved. And you then ultimately become very comfortable with intimacy and independence, and you can trust and be trusted. Like you find that, very easy. And then you have insensitive. So it's called insensitive rejecting. So with this one, the type of attachment is insecure avoidant. So like a dismissive attachment. And the one that I'm describing now describes my ex. So this one left the child feeling unloved and rejected.
Sure.
And then how they become in relationships is they value independence. They feel uncomfortable with too much closeness. Guys, did you hear what I was going through?
Ish.
Hi. And then the third one, insensitive, inconsistent, which resonates with me because, like I described in the first episode, being moved around from different households after my parents passed away, there was inconsistency, yes, but also the way people treated me indicated that they were insensitive because it's not necessarily a way you should be treating a child or a human being for that matter. So the type of attachment in this case is insecure, resistant, and it's an anxious attachment. So it says it leaves the child angry and confused. I don't know about anger, guys. Like, I struggle to feel angry. Like, this is something that I spoke to my therapist about. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, the feeling of anger is foreign to me.
Sure.
Which is weird because I'm like, I should be angry. Why am I not angry? But it's okay as well. So I'll lean towards the confused side of things. And ultimately then this type of person craves closeness and reassurance. Ooh, that is me. Fears abandonment or rejection. So like in the case of my ex, where he was just like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with this closeness. Whereas I was like, I need you. Don't leave me. Reassure me. Tell me you love me. So yeah, unfortunately, that was the situation. And then the final one, atypical, which is insecure, disorganized, so fearful attachment. This leaves the child leaving fearful of intimacy or socially avoidant. So this type of person desires connection but also fears it. So often inconsistent in relationships, basically. So because of the type of attachment style that I've described that I have, for instance, it's really not healthy in a relationship. And I've been asking myself, because I read this in a book. I love self-help books.
Yes.
My fave.
Yes.
And I read it in a book called, I think it's called How Has Nobody Told Me This Before, or something like that.
I've seen that, yes.
But they don't necessarily explain to you how to develop a healthier attachment style. It's like, well, you went through this as a child, so now you're this person as an adult in relationships.
All the best to you.
Exactly. So there's no tips. So can you give us some tips?
Yeah.
Give me some tips, please.
Yeah. So therapy helps a lot, right? Psychotherapy, this is for this particular thing, because you being self-aware helps you in relationships. So when you recognize that, okay, so I need a lot of reassurance. I need, I'm very sensitive to my partner's actions. I want them to reassure me. I want consistency. I want love. And you also recognize that you attract, or you are attracted to, a lot of very emotionally unavailable people who are dismissive, you are able to then be self-aware, and next time you are in a talking stage with someone, recognize that are these the patterns that I've been going for all this time? So in this case, the self-awareness of this is me, but also this is what I usually attract, will help you see patterns in the next person and say, do I think this person is cool because they are playing hard to get with someone they are pursuing? Because that's not cool.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So
totally.
Whereas if you are then saying, okay, I I want someone to reassure me. It's not a bad thing, right? It only becomes super unhealthy when this person is reassuring you, but you feel like, no, you haven't said goodnight, so you're probably cheating. You're probably saying goodnight to somebody else. So that becomes very weird. But wanting reassurance is part of love.
Yeah.
But seeing, okay, is this person giving me assurance? And am I going for someone who will love me in a healthy way? But also, am I being healthy towards this person? So it's a lot of self-awareness, a lot of communication, and a lot of checking yourself. If you're constantly going for someone who is dismissive of you and whatever, you need to check yourself about that and go to therapy about that. But also be vigilant in the next relationship.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
I'm glad.
I will apply that.
Please.
I'm living my best single life currently.
Okay. If you're watching, she's very attractive, as you can see. Please DM her.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Maybe not now, guys. Still working on myself.
Okay, she's still working on herself.
Oh, guys. Thank you for that. So the one thing that I learned about in group therapy as well, that taught me about having like sort of a sense of fulfillment, like a reason to wake up in the morning, which I was like, why didn't y'all teach me this like in life orientation?
Yes,
why is this not in the syllabus?
Yeah.
You know, because it is because of learning about Ikigai, the Japanese term, which speaks to what I'm talking about now, that I actually started this podcast.
Yes. I remember you shared that this was a dream in the group therapy, and now it's a whole thing. I'm so excited.
Reality. Yeah. Yes. So when we did the exercise, the Ikigai, you know, with the whole what you're passionate about, etc. And I was filling that in, it kept pointing towards this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, when it said, there was a question that says, what does the world need? And this podcast, the objective of it is building women, which is, in this sense, is driving out animosity and hostility amongst women by talking about the conversations that result in us being hostile towards each other. So in the first season, there were like various topics about things that happen in friendships, in the workplace, etc. And the reason that I started with mental health in this second season is because when people are not in their right state of minds, they tend to not be the nicest people. And that can bring about hostility and animosity. And tying it back to Ikigai and the question that was asked of what does the world need? I was like, the world needs love. Like, we need to drive out this animosity and hostility that is amongst us. So I would love for you to explain to everyone what Ikigai is. Like, just give us a lecture.
Okay. Guys, I absolutely love Ikigai. And I want to say that me saying self-employment really changed my life is not to, over fantasize, like just leave your job right now, be poor, go for your passion and whatever. No, but it speaks to Ikigai in and of itself. So I didn't become self-employed as in like I also like to speak, but I didn't leave my job to become a YouTuber, even though people have done that and have become super successful. But I left my job and I just started my private practice in what I'm already doing, just so people know and they don't think I'm trying to advise them to leave their jobs. But Ikigai is a Japanese concept which basically means your reason to wake up in the morning, right? And it has 4 factors. And it is what you love, which is what you're passionate about, what your interests are, what you are good at, exactly, what you are good at, which is also this, which is what people compliment you about, what comes naturally to you, even if people had to try and try and try, it's just a natural thing that you do well. What the world needs, which is how you can serve the world, what your society, what your community needs, and what you can be paid for, right? Because it's not Ikigai if you're really, really struggling, but just doing something because, you're good at it and you love it. So when you are able to do 4 of these things, or your life consists of daily activities that have that include these 4 things, and it can be completely different, right? Different things. But when you are consistently doing things that that encompass these 4 things, then you will have a reason to wake up in the morning. It will drive out this feeling of hopelessness and helplessness, and you will feel excited about your life, which is what this Japanese concept is about. Feeling excited about your life, wanting to wake up in the morning and having this, wanting to wake up to do something. So yeah, what you love, it can literally be, for me, running, speaking, having conversations with people, reading, praying. That's my thing. What you are good at, my job, report writing, speaking still, what the world needs, mental health, kindness, love, friendship, just people to be there for them. And then what you can be paid for, which is my job. So figure out those 4 things for yourself and do that.
Oh, beautifully explained.
Thank you.
Enjoyed that session. You know what? After I
Yes.
left, I bought the book.
Oh, yes, there's a book actually that sold that exclusive books.
Bought that book, and I was like, I learned so much about the Japanese people, like even the things that they eat, how they get to live up to their 90s and 100. They've got this figured out.
Yeah.
And that's why even when I read about lion's mane, I was like, if it's within the same group of people, then surely this is going to be healing. Thank you so much, Boipelo, for being here. Oh, what an honor. What a privilege. The fact that when I met you over 2 years ago, I was just in awe. Like when I said you changed my life in a space of 3 weeks, like I looked forward to your classes so much. And I left that place, even the final week before I was discharged, I could already feel the change. And I applied so many of the things that I learned in the sessions with you. So to have you on my platform, part of my passion project, oh, my heart is doing cartwheels right now. So thank you so much. And for everyone watching, I hope you apply all these insights, all these pearls of wisdoms, the gems that Boipelo has dropped today. And I hope all of you continue to be the woman building women.
Thank you, Sam. Sorry, I know that was your outro, but I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and I'm so proud of you. Like, we spoke about this, and the fact that it was not just lip service, it was not just, oh yeah, people, I'm gonna do it, and then you're not gonna do it. The fact that it's actually a reality, and you've invested in yourself, and you are using your pain as purpose as well, healing the nation one video at a time. I'm so proud of you and you're doing very, very well.
Thank you.
So it's really good to see that the work we do also, like, it produces results, like actual tangible results. So I'm very proud of you, and it was so fun being here.